How well do you really know the person beside you? The one who shares your dreams, your fears, your most intimate moments. You trust them with your heart, your future, your life. You believe in the promises whispered in the dark. But sometimes, love is just a mask, hiding a darkness you can't imagine, a darkness that can turn your world upside down. When that mask slips, your world shatters. The person you thought you knew becomes a stranger. This is the story of Natalie Brooks, a woman who believed she'd found her forever. She was in love, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing. She was planning a wedding, dreaming of happiness, never suspecting the man she loved was plotting her end. Every detail of her future meticulously planned, except for the betrayal. Evil can look like devotion, sound like love, and offer you a diamond ring, all while planning to take everything away. The facade of love can be the perfect disguise for malevolence. We expect monsters to lurk in shadows, not to be the person who brings us flowers. The person who holds us close, whispering sweet nothings. For Natalie, the man she was ready to marry was her greatest threat, a predator hiding in plain sight. The love of her life was a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is a journey into the darkness behind a perfect relationship. A tale of love turned lethal. Natalie's story is a warning. The most devastating betrayals come from those we trust the most, the ones who know our vulnerabilities. And the price of misplaced trust is one no one should ever have to pay. A price paid in tears, heartbreak, and sometimes life itself. Natalie Brooks radiated warmth, a dedicated nurse, a loyal friend, and an optimist who believed in happy endings. She met Liam Peterson at a hospital fundraiser where his charm and quick wit drew her in instantly. Their whirlwind romance was filled with grand gestures, surprise dates, handwritten notes, and late-night phone calls that lasted for hours. To outsiders, their love story seemed like a fairy tale, the kind people envied. But beneath the surface, subtle shadows crept in. Liam's affection sometimes felt like ownership, his compliments edged with control. He'd get moody if she saw friends, check her phone, and disguise suspicion as playful curiosity. He wanted to know where she was, always. Natalie brushed it off as love, convincing herself his intensity meant devotion. But her friends noticed she was changing, more withdrawn, less bright. She canceled plans, made excuses, and defended Liam's jealousy, even as she started hiding things herself. The love she craved was slowly becoming a cage, each gesture of care another lock on the door. Her friends worried, but Natalie insisted they didn't understand. She was sure Liam just loved her too much. She was caught in his orbit, unable to see the shadows closing in, the way his love isolated her from the world. Sometimes, the greatest danger is the love that isolates you, especially when the shadows are cast by the one you trust most. Liam Peterson was a master of appearances, charming, successful, adored by all. He could light up a room with his wit, always knowing exactly what to say to win people over. But behind closed doors, Liam's charm twisted into manipulation. He showered Natalie with gifts after every argument, insisting he only wanted what was best for her. He dictated what Natalie wore, monitored her social media, and even deleted contacts from her phone, claiming her friends were a bad influence. Arguments before outings became routine. If Natalie laughed with someone else, Liam accused her of flirting, twisting reality until she apologized for things she hadn't done. If Natalie questioned him, he'd accuse her of being ungrateful or give her the silent treatment for days, making her doubt herself and beg for forgiveness. Piece by piece, he eroded her confidence, criticizing her looks, questioning her choices, until she depended on his approval for everything. He convinced her he was the only one who truly loved her, repeating that no one else would ever care for her the way he did. The vibrant woman she was faded, replaced by someone anxious, withdrawn, and afraid to reach out for help. Natalie was trapped in a web of emotional abuse, her world shrinking with every manipulative act, unaware of just how much danger she was truly in. Liam's plan was meticulous, a surprise anniversary trip to a remote scenic cliffside where the ocean crashed below and the wind carried the scent of salt and wildflowers. He sold it as the ultimate romantic gesture, but his preparations included a tarp, rope, and shovel, items hidden beneath the illusion of love. Natalie was ecstatic, her heart racing with anticipation, convinced a proposal was coming. She gazed out the window, daydreaming about their future together, her mind swirling with hope and excitement, completely unaware of the danger ahead. The day arrived. Liam had set up a picturesque picnic, a soft blanket, champagne chilling in a silver bucket, music playing softly, and the sky ablaze with the colors of sunset. They laughed, toasted to their love, and for a moment, Natalie felt like she was living in a dream, her fairy tale unfolding before her eyes. As they walked hand in hand toward the cliff's edge, the golden light bathed them, and Natalie's heart fluttered with anticipation. The setting was perfect, the moment magical. Every detail seemed to promise a new beginning. Natalie looked around in awe, her smile wide, feeling safe and cherished, completely oblivious to the storm brewing beneath the surface. But as the sun dipped lower, a subtle chill crept into the air. The romance lingered, but an unspoken tension began to build. Natalie, lost in her fairy tale, never noticed the darkness in Liam's eyes, or the way his hand tightened just a little too much around hers. Sometimes the most beautiful moments hide the darkest intentions. As the sun dipped lower, Liam let the moment linger, his words painting a picture of a shared future. The air was thick with anticipation and hope. He gently asked Natalie to close her eyes and make a wish. When she opened them, he was on one knee, holding out a sparkling diamond ring. Overcome with emotion, Natalie said yes, tears of joy streaming down her face. But in an instant the warmth vanished. Liam's expression hardened. No embrace, no kiss, just a chilling, unnatural stillness. Natalie's smile faltered as she sensed something was terribly wrong. Without warning, Liam lunged at her. The proposal dissolved into chaos as he attacked, the intensity of his rage erupting in a violent struggle. Natalie's shock gave way to terror as she fought to break free. Desperation fueled Natalie's every move. She fought back with everything she had, her mind reeling from the betrayal. The man she loved had become a stranger, her worst nightmare. The engagement ring slipped from their grasp, lost among the chaos. The picnic was overturned, their dreams scattered across the ground. The golden sunset now bore silent witness to the violence and betrayal. On that lonely cliff, Natalie's fight for survival became a desperate battle against someone she once trusted with her life. Every second was a test of will and strength. In a single shattering instant, the dream was destroyed. Both were left reeling, Natalie in anguish and disbelief, Liam consumed by cold fury. Sometimes the person you trust most is the one you should fear, and in the aftermath, the emotional scars would linger long after the physical wounds had healed. Hours after the incident, Liam dialed 911, his voice trembling with what sounded like panic. But investigators would soon notice that his distress seemed oddly forced. He told dispatchers that Natalie had fallen in excitement after his proposal, insisting it was a tragic accident. When first responders arrived, they found Liam near the cliff, acting the part of a devastated fiancé. But his story quickly began to unravel. Detectives noticed inconsistencies. Liam's face bore fresh scratches, but his clothes were spotless, odd for someone who claimed to have tried to save Natalie from a rocky fall. The physical evidence didn't match his account. There were no signs of a struggle at the edge, and the trajectory of Natalie's fall didn't align with his version of events. Forensic experts determined the scratches on Liam's face were likely defensive wounds, inflicted by fingernails, not rocks or brush. His emotional outbursts seemed perfectly timed for an audience, but when he thought no one was watching, his demeanor turned cold and detached. A paramedic later reported that, instead of asking about Natalie, Liam's first concern was retrieving his car, an unusual priority for someone supposedly in shock. As detectives pieced together the timeline, more contradictions emerged. Liam's story changed with each retelling, and his alibi didn't hold up under scrutiny. The mask of innocence was slipping, and the truth was beginning to surface. The investigation quickly exposed the truth, but it was the painstaking work of detectives that truly unraveled Liam's story. The engagement ring, found far from where Liam claimed Natalie fell, was the first crack in his narrative. Evidence of a struggle, scuff marks, trampled vegetation, and muddy footprints contradicted his story at every turn. The autopsy revealed bruises and DNA under Natalie's nails. She had fought back, leaving behind the proof of her resistance. Liam's car held a shovel, tarp, and rope, tools for murder, not romance. Each item meticulously catalogued, each one a nail in his coffin. His internet searches were damning: how to get away with murder, isolated cliffs, defensive wounds, and even how to erase evidence. Security footage showed him calm and collected after the crime, his mask of innocence still firmly in place. But under pressure, the charming facade began to crack. In the interrogation room, Liam's composure faltered. His voice trembled, his hands shook, and his eyes darted as detectives closed in. Police had everything they needed. The evidence was overwhelming, and Liam's psychological breakdown was the final piece. The truth was undeniable. Liam was a cold, calculating killer, and now utterly exposed. Liam's trial was a media sensation. He maintained his innocence, but the evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution laid out the forensic findings, the struggle, the premeditation. Natalie's friends and family testified about his controlling behavior and her isolation. The jury saw through his charm and lies. After brief deliberation, they found him guilty of first-degree murder. Relief washed over Natalie's family. Justice had been served. Liam was sentenced to life in prison, his mask forever removed. He would be remembered not as a charming fiancé, but as a killer. The story ended not with a wedding, but with justice. Natalie's story is a warning. Sometimes the greatest threats come from those we trust most. But what happens after the truth is revealed? The aftermath lingers, echoing in the quiet moments and the questions that never quite fade. The red flags, jealousy, isolation, control, were there all along, but so were the doubts that followed. Friends and family replay every conversation, wondering if they could have done more, if they missed a crucial sign. We make excuses for those we love, ignoring the whispers of doubt. In the aftermath, those whispers become questions. What if we had listened? What if we had spoken up sooner? Her friends saw the signs, but Natalie couldn't. Now, they carry the weight of hindsight, determined to honor her memory by trusting their instincts in the future. Her tragedy teaches us to trust our instincts and listen to those who care. Healing is slow, but it begins with honest conversations and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. True love empowers. It doesn't control or isolate. The lesson is clear. Healthy relationships are built on trust, respect, and freedom, not fear. Recognizing the difference can be a matter of life and death. The scars may remain, but so does the resolve to protect ourselves and others. Natalie's legacy is a call to pay attention, speak up, and never dismiss our own unease. By sharing her story, we empower others to break the silence and seek help. Evil doesn't always announce itself. It can arrive with flowers and a promise of forever. But we can learn to recognize the signs, to trust our instincts, and to support one another. Listen to the whispers. They might save a life and inspire the courage to begin again.